Welcome back to Gran Turismo 7, guys. We're covering the third and final car of the 1.56 update today. Last time out, you guys saw me drive this Peugeot 205 GTI. I about called it a Turbo 16. And I had so much fun in this car. It is probably my favorite of the update so far. I love the Z4. I'm a big German car fan. I love BMW. But golly, this thing was so fun to just toss around in the last video at Altopolis. But today we're going to cover the last car. We're here in this beautiful showroom. I don't think I've really gone here in the VR scapes or VR showroom or whatever they call this in this game. But yeah, we're going to finally experience the car that kind of got, or I guess truck, they got everyone kind of hated with this update. Everyone on Facebook was like, oh, this update was trash. Why do we need this in the game? Blah, 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 blah. I still think this was a better choice than adding another freaking Prius-based hybrid. Like the CHR, I had a lot of fun with it in terms of low power circuits, but golly, that Nürburgring lap really made me dislike it. This is the 1962 Mercedes Unimog Type 411. This is the car that a lot of people were like, why is this in the game? Got a little turbo diesel, it sounds like, or just a diesel, I assume. I would doubt turbo diesel. Now, one of my favorite YouTube channels I've ever watched is called Tedward. He drove a more modern Unimog a while back, which was pretty cool. Oh gosh, this interior. So we've got is this a 6-speed transmission? How? This interior is definitely very semi-truck, or as we call them in the southern United States, tractor trailers. There's a lot of levers that I'd have no clue what they do. 2 seats, not very comfy seats. I'd imagine this thing would be kind of awful to drive for anything other than work, and even then it might still suck. I'm curious, these gauges are chromatic. I guess we'll find out when we go to drive it. Lots of lights and switches and stuff all over this dash. And then a pretty large horn button in the middle here that I feel like if you got into a wreck would hurt a lot to do. All right, so let's go ahead and buy it. 46,000 credits. Not too shabby at all in terms of price. Fairly inexpensive vehicle in the game. 4,200 pounds and 29 horsepower. I did not notice that. That's crazy. It is so heavy with 29 horsepower. 32 performance points is crazy. Wow, okay, so I mentioned in the last video I was not going to do like I did with the 205 and the Z4, where they're getting their own follow-up videos to be modified. This one we're going to modify in this video, just because this thing is, quite frankly, the most uninteresting car of this whole update for me. As it is for most people. I'm not quite so cynical of this like everyone else was. I think it's a neat addition, and I think it'll give the F-150 and the Tundra a little bit more competition when they're built, obviously. No engine swap is a giant surprise, considering the stock performance of this truck. We do get a wide body option. I don't really... Does it just push the wheels out? That's kind of what it looks like to me. Like, there's not really much of a difference here. And it's a $50,000 part. It costs more than the truck did to do the wide body kit. Customization options, I don't expect this to be terribly good. We've got one where it deletes kind of all the random stuff on the front, and you get a bull bar. I actually kind of like the stock look here. It's very period correct, if you will. Sidewise, we can take off these large fog, or like, I guess, additional headlights. And we can add a snorkel. I am going to go for the snorkel. I do like the snorkel. For the rear, we can give it a more traditional truck bed, or we can make it a box truck. I think just for fun, let's make it a box truck. That's kind of funky looking. Alright, we got your standard hood pin options. Actually, that's a different one that I've never seen before. So I'm going to do it just because of that. No to hook and roll cage options here. We do have a front grille option that gets rid of the Mercedes logo on the front to get a colored grille versus the chrome. Or you just not have a grille at all. But I kind of like all of the fixings being on this truck. So we're going to leave that. These wheels are hideous and they've got to go. I want something a bit more rugged looking. So let's see what we got here. We're probably going to go with these American Racing AR61s. Or the KMC XDs. I'm leaning more towards the American Racing wheels just because they're more period correct. I'm going to bump it down to a 16-inch wheel just because I think that looks better. And we're going to widen the track width and the offset just to kind of make it look the part more. I'm not going to do the wide body. I just don't like the wide body on this truck. I would expect that you can add like a livery to the side of the box if you chose the box truck, but my controller's dead, so I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna keep using the wheel, and I can't really do that with the wheel. I might experiment with that later though, just for fun. I'd imagine nothing too dark can be put on that box. All right, so let's go ahead and go build the motor and stuff, because obviously this truck's gonna need it. So we're just gonna kind of go through this kind of quick. So obviously we're gonna, I'm tempted to just leave it at the stock weight, just for fun. But we are gonna do like all of the goodies. Let's see what we've got in the extreme category. We're actually losing torque. I'm still gonna do it though. We got the bore up. This can make a 1.9 liter. Effectively gonna do the cams. This thing is not gonna be very fast at all. Let's see, is there any forced induction? Okay, we do thankfully get turbos. I think that's going to be a huge game changer. It doubles the horsepower almost. We're just going to go full kill and make this truck as crazy as we can for the money. Because it needs it, honestly. It needs all of the love with how low that power output is. Alright. So, as far as suspension, I'm going to leave the stock suspension on. I am going to do the brake pads. I'm going to leave the stock rotors. Just because I can. I'm going to leave the stock clutch in as well. And then we definitely need dirt tires and stuff. So, we're going to go ahead and start with the snow tires. And then we'll go bump back over. I think it's Clubsport's had the dirt tires. Let's make sure there's not anything else. High compression pistons. I think that will... Well, it's not going to do anything, honestly. So, just leave that out. That looks like that is about all we're going to get with this thing without any sort of weight reduction. Yeah, I think we've done about everything. So, final power output is 227 horsepower, which, I mean, coming from 29 horsepower, it's almost a 200 horsepower increase. I think that's pretty solid, all things considered. Because, I mean, this thing was on track to be absolutely atrocious. So yeah, I think that about covers all we can do with this truck. So let's go ahead and take her out to probably, we'll start off with one of the dirt tracks. I'm going to pick one that I don't really do a whole lot, which, I mean, I don't do a whole lot of rally in this game anyway, but we're going to start off with something pretty light. For our dirt track, we're going to go to Sardinia. We're going to try this on both dirt and snow. So we should already have dirt tires equipped, which we do. 322 performance points, 227 horsepower, 4,200 pounds is our final total. The Evo at 126.8 is going to be very safe. I doubt this thing will get near it, but let's go. Okay, it is a 6-speed transmission. Okay, I don't see a... I can't really tell the gauges apart very well with this thing. Holy turbo noise. This thing is very loud. I hate the VR seating position, though. I get this is kind of like a commercial truck, but... Oh, man, this is almost CVT level annoying. I'm actually driving this truck in one hand right now. So I don't do a whole lot of dirt racing, so if I crash this thing a couple times, just ignore it. I'm very much a road racer. Bang a limiter a little bit fifth there. Definitely not my first choice for rally. Oh, a lot of slow down way too much. This is dead like a commercial truck, but it's like so underpowered. I don't know why they did this back in the 60s. 29 horsepower and something that looks like it was supposed to tow like big equipment is a little underwhelming, I'm sure. even by then, even by 1962 standards. I like that I pulled the handbrake and it didn't even try to slide. This big steering wheel is so obstructing. Big jump. Another big jump. Holy air. That was a ton of air. And across the line at a 155. Okay, so this middle one's definitely tachometer. Oh, well. No boost gauge. Well, obviously it doesn't have a boost gauge. It's naturally aspirated normally. All right, let's go ahead and bump out of here. Let's just check a look at the leaderboard. I know this thing did worse than that Evo. It looks silly. It looks silly. So yeah, it was a good almost 30 full seconds off of the Evo. All right, let's go try this thing out on snow. All right, Lake Louise, the only snow track in the whole game. So the slowest time around here is the Polo GTI. I think that car is more than safe. I think this thing's going to be probably a 2:30 to possibly even 3-minute lap. I do not expect this track to be very competitive at all here. I chose the nighttime layout just because the lights are really pretty here, and I actually have not experienced it in VR yet. So I wanted to try it up a little bit different here. Let's get rolling. Let's see what this behemoth can do, this very slow behemoth. Come on, truck. The night sky is pretty in this on this track, though. Oh, we've hit Governor on the stock transmission. All right, this thing is going to be one of the slowest laps I'll ever do around here, I'm sure, but for science. This thing is so slow. Oh my goodness. Oh, the brakes are pretty rough too. I mean, obviously I didn't upgrade the rotors on purpose, but I wanted to get kind of a feel for the stock brakes of this truck, with the exception of the pad upgrade. Because I kind of figured this thing would be really hard to stop. Alright, as you pass this like resort building, Christmas trees. Nice. Alright, we're gonna brake really late going into here. Alright, into 6th gear. Still got a long way to go with this lap. This thing is very underwhelming, though. crazy that despite the extremely low power output and how slow this truck is, you're spending most of the lap in 5th and 6th gear. There's the start finish straight. All right. $224.7. That's actually a little bit quicker than I expected. I figured 230 on the high end. Okay, my foot, I am full brake right now. Yeah, these brakes are trash. These brakes are awful. Just look around the interior a little bit here. That shifter. Holy throw. That is a long throw. Holy cow. Alright, let's see what we want up on the leaderboard. Definitely a little quicker than I expected. I had no faith in it. Did it beat the Polo? It did not beat the Polo. 20-second gap. I thought the Polo was like a 220 something, but it was a 204. But alright, I'm going to wrap this one up here. This was underwhelming, but I figured it would be. Like I said, it was the most uninteresting vehicle here. But again, I'm not as cynical about this truck being in the game as everyone else has been. Like all the boohoo, like, you know, they didn't like add the 1990 Honda Civic base into the game, you know, like people like that, like the 3-speed automatic, whatever the heck. But yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to have gotten something a little bit different. I would have loved to have seen. My main complaints have been the lack of modern race cars. We've got one car from the current hypercar rule set. We don't have the Cadillac. We don't have the Ferrari 499P. We don't have the Porsche 963. Most Group 1 lobbies are being contested with old LMP1 or Group C machinery in this game. And I feel like for a game that touts itself as one of the best modern racing games, there's not any modern representation. I could go on all day about this, and I don't want to wrap this video up on on a low like that, but that is kind of just my opinion. I think that if they'd added a new race car, like a more modern race car, other than the Toyota GR10 and the 2020 version of the AMG GT3, I would have been pretty happy with this update. But I think, you know, definitely better than last month, because I think the CHR and the you know, there was another car that was underwhelming in that update. The Ioniq 5N, I think there would have been better options for that update, but definitely improved upon that this month. But yeah, still not the best. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.